Welcome to The Hidden Truth. We're still pretty new to YouTube, and we're looking to expand our channel. If you enjoy our videos, please consider sharing them on social media or other UFO communities. Your support means everything to us. We have an exciting announcement. We'll be doing a monthly giveaway. All you have to do is like and comment on our videos for the chance to win a variety of prizes, including hats, shirts, and more. The more you like and comment, the greater your chances. Oh, and subscribing doesn't hurt either. What are you waiting for? Smash that like button. You can get free stuff.
Project Serpo, the Human and Alien Exchange Program, Part 2. The following story is either the greatest kept secret of all time or a complete fraud. You decide. In this chapter, we will hear all about the alien that was captured at the crash site in Corona, New Mexico. This presentation is of the information posted on the website serpo.org from a retired senior government official. The website was intended to facilitate the gradual release of confidential documents pertaining to a top-secret exchange program of 12 U.S. military personnel to Serpo, a planet of Zeta Reticuli, between the years 1965 to 1978. Chapter 2. The Live Alien. This chapter describes what transpired with the living extraterrestrial being that was discovered at the first crash site near Corona, New Mexico. Section 2.1 describes the entity itself. Section 2.2 describes its society, and Section 2.3 describes the communications with it. 2.1 EB1. This creature was not human, and we had to decide on a term for it. So, scientists designated the creature as EB1. We also referred to it as Noah. There was different terminology used by various aspects of the U.S. military and intelligence community back then. It was male. Within EB's race, they have males and females. EB1 was treated for some minor injuries and then taken to Los Alamos National Laboratories, which was the safest and most secure location in the world. Special accommodations were made for EB1. We believe EB1 was a member of their Air Force or maybe something like NASA. EB1 stayed alive until 1952, when it died. We learned a great deal from EB1. Although EB1 did not have voice organs like humans, it was able to communicate with an operation performed by military doctors. EB1 was extremely intelligent. It learned English quickly, mainly by listening to the military personnel who were responsible for EB's safety and care. EB1 was housed in a special area at Los Alamos and Sandia Base. Although many different military doctors, scientists, and a select number of civilians studied EB1, it never became upset or angry. EB1 helped us learn from all the items found in the two crash sites. EB1 showed us how some of the items worked, such as a communications device. It also showed us how various other devices worked as well. EB1 died of what military doctors considered natural causes. I don't think we could really state exactly why EB1 died. Although we had 5 years to study EB1, we didn't have any standards to compare EB's body with standard medical observations. It was difficult to lose EB1, since it was the most interesting thing we as humans could receive and study. This was a visitor from another planet and other world. EB1 was a visitor on our planet and was taken to several different locations, mostly warm. When he arrived at Los Alamos, he remarked that he liked the cooler climate, meaning Los Alamos in the late summer. However, when EB1 was taken to Washington, D.C., very closely controlled, the climate there in late fall was too cold for him. 2.2 The Ebon Society. The alien civilization that EB1 came from is what we call the Ebon Society. It wasn't a name they gave us, it was a name we chose. Their lifespan is between 350 to 400 years, but that is Earth years. The Ebon don't have any similar characteristics of a human, with exception of their eyes, ears, and mouth. Their internal body organs are different. Their skin is different. Their eyes, ears, and even breathing is different. Their blood wasn't red, and their brain was entirely different from humans. We could not classify any part of the aliens with humans. They had blood and skin, although considerably different than human skin. Their eyes had two different eyelids. This is probably because their home planet was very bright. EB1 did explain where he lives in the universe. We call this star system Zeta Reticuli, which is about 40 light years from Earth. EB's planet was within this star system. Our closest star is 4 light years away. Alpha Centauri, a yellow star, is the brightest star in the constellation Centaurus, 4.3 light years away. It took the EB1 spaceship 9 of our months to travel the 40 light years. Now, as you can see, that would mean the EB1 spaceship traveled faster than the speed of light. But this is where it gets really technical. Their spaceships can travel through a form of space tunnels that gets them from point A to point B faster, without having to travel at the speed of light. They seem to be able to bend the distance from one point in space to another. I cannot fully understand how they travel, but we have many top scientists who can understand their concept. The laws of physics on their planet are not the same as on our planet, especially when it comes to the movement of their planet in relationship to their two suns. Our scientists don't understand it because it defies some of our laws of physics. We also understand very little about their propulsion system. There seems to be two different propulsion systems, one they use within our atmosphere and one they use once they exit our atmosphere. They do not have nuclear power. Their propulsion system does have some type of low-level radiation emissions, but nothing that would endanger us. It isn't like our radiation, but we call it radiation because we have nothing else to compare it with. Time is very different on the Ebon planet, which, by the way, we call Serpo. Their day is approximately 40 hours. That is measured by the movement of their two suns. The solar system containing Serpo is a binary star system, or two suns, rather than one, like our solar system. Their suns do not set, like ours. There is daylight during their entire day, with the exception of a short time period, where both suns hit the horizon. 2.3. Ebon Communications. EB1 provided a communication device that allowed us to contact Serpo. This communication device was on board the Ebon craft that crashed in July 1947 near Corona, New Mexico. EB1 showed us the proper use of this communication device prior to his death. However, the device did not function properly and no contact could be made with Serpo. Just prior to EB1's death, an American scientist from Los Alamos figured out the device, made it work, and connected an energy source found in the Ebon craft to the communication device. With EB1's assistance and language input, several signals were sent during the summer of 1952. In early fall of 1952, we received several signals on the device. EB1 translated the messages and provided us with that information. EB1 sent 6 messages. The first message was just letting his planet know he was alive. The second message explained the crash in 1947 and the death of his crew. The third message asked for a rescue craft for him. The fourth message suggested a formal meeting with leaders of Earth. The fifth message suggested an exchange program. The sixth message provided landing coordinates for any future rescue or visitation missions to Earth. The incoming messages gave a time and date, Ebon date, and time system, and confirmed a landing location. However, once the message was translated by EB1, it was determined the date was over 10 years away. Fearing that EB1, who was sick at this point, did not translate the message correctly, our scientists began to translate the message based on the Ebon language that was taught to us by EB1. EB1 was a mechanic, not a scientist. He was still able to teach us some of the Ebon language. According to the document which I read, we translated about 30% of the Ebon language. Complex sentences and numbers could not be recognized. EB1 assisted us as long as he was alive, but once he died, then we were on our own. We sent several messages over a 6-month period in 1953, but we did not receive any return messages. We fine-tuned our efforts over the next 18 months and finally sent 2 messages in 1955 and received a reply. We were able to translate about 30% of the messages. We turned to several linguist specialists from several U.S. universities and even several from foreign universities. Finally, we were able to translate most of the messages. We decided to reply in English and see if the Ebons could translate our language easier than we could theirs. Approximately 4 months later, we received a reply in broken English with sentences that contained nouns and adjectives, but no verbs. It took us several months to translate the messages. We then sent Ebon our typed English lessons. 6 months later, we received another English message. This time it was clearer, but not clear enough. Ebons were confusing several different English words and still failed to complete a proper sentence. But we were able to provide the basic skill level for them to communicate in English. In one message, they provided us with a form of the Ebon alphabet with the equivalent English letter. Our linguist specialist had a very difficult time figuring this out. The written Ebon language was simple characters and symbols, but our linguist specialist had an extremely difficult time comparing the 2 written languages. Over the next 5 years, we were able to perfect our understanding of the Ebon language somewhat, and the Ebons were able to better understand English. However, we had a major problem of trying to coordinate a date, time, and location for an Ebon landing on Earth. Even though we could basically understand some Ebon, and the Ebons could understand some English, we could not understand their time and date system, and they could not understand ours. We sent them our Earth's rotation schedule, revolution, date system, etc. For some reason, the Ebons never understood this. In return, the Ebons sent us their system, which was difficult for our scientists to understand because we had no reference to their planet. The Ebons did not explain any astronomical data of Serpo or their system. We then decided to just send pictures showing the Earth, landmarks, and a simple numbering system for time periods. Source: serpo.org, via Morris Osborne. My take: all I can say is wow. Can you imagine the excitement that the Air Force personnel and scientists must have felt while this was all taking place? For the people involved, it might have made them rethink a lot of personal beliefs about our place in the galaxy. What else might there be out there as well? Stay tuned for part 3, which will be in 1 week.